Other than Governor Newsom, Speaker of the Assembly Anthony Rendon is the most powerful man in California politics. Last week, Rendon canceled minutes before a planned interview with us for The Issue Is. We later find out why. Assemblyman Robert Rivas, a Democrat from Hollister, told Rendon that he had garnered enough votes in the Democratic caucus to succeed Rendon as Speaker. On Tuesday, the Democratic caucus met behind closed doors for more than 6 hours trying to figure out their future. After all of that, Speaker Rendon remained as Speaker for now. But he released this statement, quote, "I applaud Robert Rivas for securing the support of a majority of the current Democratic caucus to succeed me as the Speaker of the Assembly. But when that happens isn't entirely clear." Joining us now is Assemblyman Robert Rivas. Welcome to the show for the first time.
Alex, it's so great to meet you, and I really appreciate you having me on, and appreciate all you do.
Thank you very much. So, when are you going to become Speaker?
Well, it's a great question. First and foremost, I am, I'm thrilled. In fact, I've enjoyed this past week reading and listening to all of the commentary from longtime some political reporters. But I'm thrilled. I'm humbled to have the majority support of our Assembly Democratic Caucus to be the next Speaker. This was always about beginning a long and steady transition, a peaceful and a collaborative transition, and nothing abrupt. As it has been portrayed by some outlets, the fact is that I have enough votes to be the next Speaker, as affirmed by Speaker Rendon on Tuesday night. And the Speaker and I will begin meeting weekly. In fact, those meetings will begin this next week. And I look forward to working with him on a thoughtful transition in the coming weeks and months. So this was the plan, very similar to other and some previous Speaker or leadership transitions.
So what's the next step in all this? You're saying that you guys are going to literally have weekly meetings to figure this thing out. Are we looking at you becoming Speaker before the November elections or after the November elections, when there could be different members who might vote in a different way?
Sure. Well, I think, the plan here is, certainly having the acknowledgement that, I do have the support now in this, from our current caucus to be the next Speaker. This is, again, this has always been thought of as a long-term transition, a thoughtful one, a planning for the future, understanding that new members are coming. This is now the end of my 4th year in the legislature. And I can recall when I was a new member, trying to figure out, it took me a few months to figure out where the bathrooms were, to build all those relationships that I have subsequently built with my colleagues and with, so many different stakeholders in Sacramento. And with that, this was certainly the best, a way to create the most stable environment moving forward as we plan for the future. And so certainly looking forward to this, this first step was a very important one, having the acknowledgement of, to be Assembly Speaker Rendon's successor. And so now we start to plan. We start to work together to unify our caucus and to begin to plan for the future, what a transition ultimately is going to look like.
So if I'm hearing correctly, is it not clear if it's going to be before or after the election?
Well, I think that is something that once again, it's going to be something that Speaker Rendon and I will work towards, and very excited for what the future holds.
Take us behind the scenes, if you will, because it seemed like the Sacramento political reporters were going nuts for this 6 hours of you guys in this room, people running in and out, trying to get signs of what was happening. What was really happening behind the scenes during that time?
Well, I think, we were having a robust a discussion, about, our caucus, and certainly, out of respect to the responsibilities I have to my colleagues and to Speaker Rendon. I can't get into details because certainly that was a closed session, a discussion. But once again, I'm thrilled at the conversation we did have. I'm excited at the acknowledgement from Speaker Rendon and that the majority of our caucus that I have their support to be the next Speaker, and so that once again we can begin this long and steady this transition that is in the best interest of not only Speaker Rendon, not only myself, but to the future of our state and the residents of this state. That, obviously this is a critical time. This is a state with a significant number of issues, any number of crises that they deserve our attention. So I look forward to working with Speaker Rendon to unify our caucus now and to begin to focus on these issues that they deserve our attention, and look forward to solving many of these problems moving forward.
I think a lot of us were kind of confused about the timing, thinking that maybe you did this thinking that I have the votes to be Speaker right now. Is there something in particular that you're frustrated with Speaker Rendon, if that the majority is frustrated with? And how would a Speaker Rivas be different than Speaker Rendon when it comes to policy?
Sure. And that's a great question. I think I have tremendous praise and respect for Speaker Rendon, and for how he has led our caucus. In my short time in the state assembly and in the legislature, I'm so thankful for the opportunities that I have had under his leadership. Having the opportunity to chair the Assembly Committee on Agriculture has been something special for not only myself, but for my family and for the region I represent. This has been home my entire life. Having been raised by a family of immigrant farm workers, having grown up in the same agricultural fields where my family would work in overcrowded, the tract of overcrowded migrant farm worker housing, having this opportunity to advocate for not only farm workers, but to fight for this industry, which is here in California agriculture. We are the largest, most productive agricultural region and state anywhere in the world. And so it's been a pleasure to have these opportunities. And I'm excited moving forward to learn from Speaker Rendon over the coming months, and to bring eventually to bring new vision, to bring new energy to the State Assembly chamber. This is a time for us to come together and to focus on ensuring that we deliver results for all Californians. Again, I'm excited for our weekly transition meetings to make sure that those begin this coming week, and look forward, once again, to planning for the future. Look forward to leading this caucus in this chamber, and to really tackle these important issues that exist now, and the ones we anticipate we're going to have to solve and address and tackle into the future.
But is there any one big change when it comes to either policy or even style that you're looking to make as Speaker?
Yeah, I think, my colleagues have recognized my commitment to bring people together, to focus on the issues, and to ensure that we deliver results. I'm a straight shooter. I'm not much for some political games. The legislature certainly is ready, as I mentioned, for new vision, new energy, and for us to unify, for us to come together. We want to work together to solve all these problems for our state. But I do have to mention that there's only one leader at a time, and so I am happy to come back to you and talk to you about my agenda as Speaker once I'm officially elected. But right now, I want to be as supportive as I can to Speaker Rendon in getting the state budget passed and moving forward with critical measures that are before our legislature now, such as gun control, reproductive rights, and so many other immediate challenges facing our state.
Fair enough. We are already getting the booking request in right now. So we do want to get to know you a little bit better, though. When you ran for Assembly, you put out a pretty moving ad about your grandfather's impact on your worldview. Can you share how being the grandson of a farm worker may shape you as a speaker?
Absolutely. Look, my grandfather, his sacrifices, they really have been my inspiration in pursuing public office. This is now my 12th year in elective office. My family and I, they were immigrant farm workers, as I mentioned, and we grew up in this tract of overcrowded migrant farm worker housing at Almaden Vineyards here on the Central Coast. And it was my family who immigrated from Mexico. They came to California in search of a better life. And it was my grandfather who was the father figure in my life. I was raised by him, by my mother, who's a single parent, by my grandparents, and my mom's sisters and brothers, or her brother. And as a lifelong farm worker, he worked his entire life so that my brother and I that we could have a chance at a better life. that we had a chance at a brighter future, so we wouldn't have to work in the agricultural fields, and I'm never, ever going to forget my roots. I've never, I haven't forgotten my roots. And reflecting on this personal experience, on my family's experiences, and the sacrifices that they made for my brother and me, the sacrifices that my grandfather made for all of us, having the opportunity that I do now to serve not only in the California legislature, but to succeed Speaker Rendon, to fight for everything that this state stands for. Because my story is the story of so many across California and all parts of the state. And it's exactly the reason why my grandfather chose to immigrate to California. As he would say, and he said it often, he came to California because this was the state, this was the land of opportunity, where even a farm worker could ensure that they could work hard and provide a better life for their family. My grandfather strongly believed that everyone, they deserved opportunity, that they deserved respect, and that is a value that drives my work as an elected official to this day.
Very nice. Let's end with some fun. We do a game on this show called Personal Issues, where if you put 30 seconds up on the clock, you get to know your favorites real quick. Here we go. First thing that comes to mind. Let's begin with this. Favorite TV show?
Seinfeld.
Good choice. Favorite movie?
Favorite movie, I would have to say Forrest Gump.
Favorite book?
Favorite book? The Stand by Stephen King.
Favorite musical artist?
Prince.
Oh, good one. And what is your all-time favorite song?
La Bamba.
Why La Bamba?
Well, there's a lot of history, a lot of correlations to my family history. But one of my mentors is Luis Valdez, who lives a short distance from my home in San Juan Bautista. He was the producer of La Bamba. I've always been an inspiration for myself, my family. Worked closely with my grandfather as they launched the United Farmworkers (UFW) movement. He's a close family friend, obviously with the work he did with Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta. So La Bamba is true to our culture, to my story, and it's always at the top of any playlist I have.
Well, since I do my research around here, Assemblyman Rivas, thank you for being with us, and we go to break with some La Bamba and a chance for you to dance. Thanks so much.
Excellent.